Hey everyone, this is Kimmie and I am Mama on a Mission, and today I have another What Sold video for you guys. I have been breaking up my What Sold videos into weekend videos and then during the week videos. And I think I'm going to keep that going for a while because I think it's good to compare how each week is, how it's trending. And obviously not every week is the same or weekend, and this one is no exception. It was kind of eye-opening for me, so it will be kind of fun to go through a few of these sales. I'm calling it a learning lesson weekend because there's a mix of okay, decent like sales, some of my normal stuff, and then some sales where I'm looking back at them and I'm saying, why did I ever pick that up? No wonder it only sold for $4. And I'm going to show you some of those things. If you're new to the channel, I am a 14-year online reseller. I have been doing all kinds of things during that time. I've done Amazon. I've done my own website. I'm currently on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, which eBay has basically been the entire time, I will say. So it's always a little bit of a roller coaster. And as I'm doing this channel, I've only been doing it for a couple months again. And I want to be as transparent as possible with you guys. I am nobody special. I am not some crazy know-it-all. I want to be as transparent with you guys so that I can learn, you can learn, and we all can kind of go through the journey together. Hopefully, if you guys have similar experiences or any input, I'm always open to that. I love hearing from you guys. So this, yes, is kind of a little bit of a mix of a what sold. And to be fair, I think it's good to show you guys some of the things that like I now have no idea what I was doing or why I picked it up, because we all can learn from that. And I feel like I'm going to learn from that, and hopefully you will too. So let's go over the numbers. This is a 2-day, a weekend what sold. So like I said, I'm kind of doing two different formats, and this was a substantial change from the weekend before. So the weekend before, I had a killer weekend. It was awesome. Awesome sales. Couldn't be any happier. And this one, I was like, okay. So my daily goal is $100 in sales between all of my different platforms. And hopefully most of the time it's a little bit more than that. But I am a part-time reseller. If you guys didn't know, I do something outside of this as well for income, a part-time kind of flexible thing. So I do this part-time. My last weekend sales was over $500 for 2 days. And that's fantastic. And this weekend, here we go, 2 days, $262.04. So I'm still hitting my goal, basically, but not necessarily as good as I would like. And a substantial, that's like half of the weekend before. Why? I mean, I have no idea. I mean, I basically have about 1,600 rolling items in my shop. I hope to get to 2,000, maybe someday. So it's not like I really did anything substantially different. The vast majority of my items, we'll say 1,500 of them, are the same as they were the week before. I do about 2 new items, 10 new items every day. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. However, I am still happy with 262. That's still not like a goose egg. It's not like the complete weekend was a failure. I'm still basically hitting my $100 per day sales goal. It's just a little bit less than I'd like, and a lot less than the weekend before. So on eBay, I did $151.04, and that was 10 sales. And you'll see in a couple of these items that I will show you guys, the average sales price, the ASP, was just low. And that's reflective in my sales, my total there. Poshmark, in 2 days, I did $81. That's really not that great for me, but it's not terrible. And I had one on Depop. Per the usual, Depop usually comes in with like 1 or 2 sales, but they're usually substantial sales. And this one was one sale for $30. So again, the total was $262.04 for 2 days, the weekend. I'm going to pop on the computer here and show you both the stinkers, as I call them, the items that just weren't great, and as well as, quite a few, not quite a few, some items that I'm obviously happy with, had good profit, had a good reason to pick it up, and I will share all those things with you. But the stinkers, you're about to see them. Let me know what you think. All right, guys, here I am. If it looks dark back here, it's because it's literally 10 o'clock at night that I'm doing this. If you know, you know. I have a couple hustles that I do, and I'm a mom of 2 very busy boys, so sometimes it's like that. It's dark, everyone's sleeping, and I am working. So here you go, some of the sales. Now this one was this is a bread and butter sale for me. It's J. Jill. Most of your J. Jill items are going to go in the $15 to $20 range. If you have a decent piece, okay. If it's really simple and basic, you're going to get less than that. If you have a plus size or more substantial piece, maybe like a blazer, a dress, something like that, you'll get a little bit more. Here is, so it's a J. Jill Pont size medium, which is not like, that's an okay size. 3/4 sleeve blouse. I put in the keywords work and office casual wear. Here's the tag, J. Jill Pont. J. Jill is one of those brands that does have different lines, like the Wherever brand. Always put that information in there. I thought this was a nice color, a nice blue color with a tie. I'm not surprised it went for $17. Bread and butter, are items that I can take $1 or $2 and sell them for $15, $20, $25. So that's okay. Lane Bryant is a brand that I've told you guys I feel like is a little bit of a dying brand. However, their plus size, like bigger plus size bottoms can do well. This still did well. Lane Bryant, high rise skinny, size 28 long. Now 28 long is a big size, and it is a longer length inseam. So that, I think, propelled this to be a little bit of a more higher sale. They do have these things that, like the tighter tummy technology. Again, always put those into your titles or descriptions if you can. I think the plus size, the 28, sold this. And they sold for $22. And that's not a bad price for just your average jean, especially if your cost is, $2. This was actually a great sale. It's Torrid, brand new, relaxed trouser pant in blacks, again size plus size 28. When you're getting into the plus size 28, you're into the 4X range, and those sizes are harder to find, and I do think that's why it makes them a little bit more, you get a little bit more like dollar value when you resell them. These were new with tags. There's the tag there. The trouser pant is a very classic style and is still very in. There's my picture. Black is always so hard to, I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes picturing black. However, this is just a very classic, almost timeless, pant. Honestly, it's a black trouser pant in a harder to find plus size. This sold for $32. Torrid is bread and butter for me, so this is actually a little bit higher piece, higher dollar amount for a Torrid piece. However, their pants and jeans are in the $70, $80 range most of the time. So really, for someone to get a pair of Torrid brand new pants for $32 plus ship, it's still probably 50% off of what it was in the shop, in a store. I feel like my brain is shutting down, so please apologize for any crazy comments or spaces here. So this is a stinker sale. It was a brand new with tag Cabi, C-A-B-I, or Cabi. I don't know. I hear people say different way. But it was a brand new blazer, size medium. I only sold this for $5, and it sat forever. I am a little sometime I'm going to get really good at editing these, and you guys are going to be really impressed. But for now, this is another stinker sale, and I actually had 2 different maternity items sell within this time frame. And I've had them both for a very long time. I actually saw maternity items today, and I didn't even think about them for another second. Anytime I have ever tried maternity items, they have not done well for me. Now, if they do really well for you, awesome. Go out there and kill it. But for me, I am not going to be looking at or doing anything with maternity. I think maybe the size situation and, a lot of parents already have maybe maternity items, or because it's such a short time to be in that type of size, maybe they don't invest a whole lot of money into maternity clothes. Also, I see a ton of maternity clothes on local buy-sell trades. So for all those reasons, that's kind of how I feel about maternity items. I did sell 2 for very low amount, $5 a piece for this weekend, but I'm not going to be looking at any maternity items myself, possibly ever again. This is another item I wanted to show you, another stinker item. It's a 42 double D full coverage underwire support bra by Izod. I think you have to be very selective about your bras. Luckily, intimate and bras are small and they're easy to store. They don't take up a whole lot of space. So I think it's easy to kind of be a little bit overzealous in picking up bras. But the truth is there's a ton of different styles. And let's be real, like us women, we probably have certain styles and brands that we like, and we probably stick to those. So there's 100 different brands out there, and it's just there's too many different options. So with that being said, I do well in some specific bras. So I would definitely do your research when you're looking at the bras, or have it be a very low cost of goods. Like at the bins, it would be virtually nothing. And just make sure that they're in really good shape and it's at least a decent brand. I mean, come on, Izod, what was I thinking? No offense, Kohl's or wherever else that brand is sold. It's just not a high resale value. Skip Izod pretty much always. This is a good sale though. The brand is RUEHL. I don't know if it's Rule. Number 925, button-up shirt, pinstripe. I put Normcore in there. Look at me. So this is just like your basic blue and white pinstriped dress shirt. You could probably put preppy in there. Did I put any other keywords? Nope. I was just going plain Jane in this listing. Rule no number 925. You could put preppy, maybe workwear, office wear, businessman. I put Normcore. I find that funny because I don't know a ton about that keyword, but just like your very classic preppy shirt there. It sold for $27 though, so I'm not mad about that. This is a decent brand to look out for. The brand is Twisted X. This was just a casual loafer. It kind of reminds me of like Hey Dudes, that kind of style. When Hey Dudes got really popular, like maybe 1 to 2 years ago, I found that there was a lot of other brands that came out with a very similar style. Just, it was post craziness and we were all just looking for comfy, cozy, casual items. Twisted X is a brand to look out for. Their shoes, their loafers, their driving loafers seem to do fairly well. These sold for actually $22 plus shipping. And I found these at the bin, so that was okay. This is another bread and butter. I do plus size as my bread and butter. Woman Within is a decent brand to keep an eye out for. Their sizing is a little bit different, so be specific in your sizing. This is a 1X, which is a 22-24 pin tuck pleated button-up shirt. This is right on cue with like the time period of early spring, the stripes, the pin tuck pleating, the buttons down the front, the V-neck, all of that are good reasons to put into your description and a reason that this sold. This is very spring, summer. I could see it paired with white pants, pretty easy. So bread and butter all day there, $18.05 plus ship. That's a solid bread and butter for me. This is actually another stinker sale. So like 2.5, 3 years ago, this is how long I've had this item. I did some Kohl's arbitrage items, meaning arbitrage is when you take a full retail price and maybe purchase it from the actual retailer, Kohl's, Ross, TJ Maxx, those types of places, or clearance for these places, and you try to flip it. This, I would say, did not go as well as I had hoped. This did not sell for $14.25. I have now sold these for like $7. And granted, I did pay like $3 for them on clearance, but it's been way too long. If you're going to try to get into the retail arbitrage game, definitely look up your comps. Look up not only solds, but how many others are listed. The market gets flooded with some of these items unless you find something that only like one is available. Like sometimes at TJ Maxx or Ross, you can find like one Free People shirt there. Then maybe you're looking at something. But when they were selling mass amounts of the same item, everyone picked them up. The market got super saturated. Not a great pickup. Just be careful if you try to go into the retail arbitrage game. This, however, we are ending on a great sale. This is Depop. It's not surprising to me that this sold on Depop. It was Abercrombie & Fitch. It says the style is the vintage 90s relaxed jean, but these weren't vintage. Like the style itself is to replicate the vintage, if that makes sense. And it, the 90s style is very in right now, so it's not surprising this sold for $39 plus shipping. It was a good size 33, which is a 16, a plus size 16 for women, so that's a great size. And Depop usually has one or two good sales, and they're usually my trendy sales, meaning just the really, really popular trends right now in somewhat of what I say the younger folks, because I'm an old lady here. What they're looking for is what usually does really well on Depop. And I'm, $39 for a pair of jeans. I got these at the Goodwill, a regular Goodwill for $6.99, and I definitely picked them up because of the style. 90s relaxed jean, that's definitely the style that's very popular right now. All right, there you have it. That is my okay weekend. Like I said, I'm happy with those sales. It's just a lot less than the weekend prior. I feel like as a reseller, one of the biggest struggles is to, of course, stay motivated, especially when you go from sales that were great one weekend and then are about half the next weekend. So if that happens to you, stay grounded, stay motivated, and that is just part of the reselling game. I follow so many resellers, and there's always variances in what is selling and how the sales are. What has really worked for me is to stay consistent with all the things, is what I say. I relist or delist daily. I use my awesome reseller tool. It's called Nifty. It is a full encompassing app that has really saved me a ton of time and does a lot of things. So it helps me relist and delist. It helps me send out offers, and it also helps me lower prices. So when it relists items after a certain amount of time that I choose, it will lower the pricing. So if something hasn't sold in 60 days, I'm fine with my little app going in and lowering the price by 10-15% and seeing if maybe that triggers someone to purchase it. Maybe it's a couple bucks less and they're like, hey, that's now in my budget, that type of thing. If you want any info about that, it's in my description and stuff. It's called Nifty. And I do have a coupon code that if you wanted to give it a shot and try it out, I do plan on making a video about it to help anyone who wants to learn more about that. But I will say, I have been doing this a very long time, and it saves me a ton of time. And the app itself, sending out all these offers and stuff on its own, has made a lot of sales for me. So it pays itself off every month without a doubt. So I am always happy with that part and thankful to have that app, because it also does my Poshmark shares. And let's be real, when I used to do my Poshmark sales in bed, I'm half asleep. Share. I'm like, how long can I do this for? So yeah, that is super helpful. There's other things that we can do to kind of help our sales, but my main point being that that's kind of the name of the game is, sometimes reselling is hard. So, you know, this weekend was not as good. I'll be interested to see what my next week holds and how it compares to the following one. You just never know. So, obviously, I had a couple bread and butter in there. J. Jill, Torrid, Lane Bryant, things like that are my bread and butter, like plus size sales. A couple shoes and stuff, but I did also have some of those stinker sales. Hopefully you guys found that a little bit helpful. If you're going to be in your intimates, definitely check in your comps if you can. Be selective, sizing, style, and of course quality. Don't pick up junk. It's just not worth your time unless it's something really rare. Like I actually found recently a vintage Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. So things like that, you can, you know, maybe there could be a flaw or two or something and it's still worth money. But be very particular. Obviously the maternity items, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not even thinking about them. I don't know enough about it and they've done very poorly for me. So that's just me. Like I said, I am nobody special. You guys tell me what's working for you. I love seeing the comments between, you know, a bunch of you guys now that comment on my videos and stuff. And I want all of us to like learn and grow together. So I love hearing from you guys. You know, I keep going back to that one comment from KD who commented about the pickleball. I listed another thing with pickleball. You know, that is something now that every time I think of golf and tennis, one of this wonderful people who watches my videos commented that another key word with golf and tennis is pickleball. And I had never literally thought of that. And now I'm putting it in a bunch of my listings. So that is where we all can learn and grow together. And so even for me, like I'm learning from you. And I love that because I thought that was seriously brilliant and I have been using it. So if you have any thoughts, any comments, anything going on, y'all check in. I do comment back to everybody. And I hope you guys are doing really well. And I will see you on the next one. I'm going to go to bed. It's like 11 o'clock. Bye.